Welcome to Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, joined today by Curt Hagman, member of the Board of Supervisors in San Bernardino County, now the Vice Chair. Since we've known each other when you were in the Assembly and now on the board, you've been a champion of technology. I want to talk about the importance of modern technology in classrooms. Give us a sense of why you think that it's so important to have modern tech in class.
Well, first of all, our mission for our students is to get them prepared for adult life, gain employment, and pretty much technology is involved in everything we do. But more importantly, it gives the opportunity for those students in different areas to see and explore and be part outside their environment.
Right.
So with modern technology, you could do Skyping for classrooms. You could take, I want to take, I don't know, something Greek Orthodox, and I could take it out of college.
Which is great. Yeah.
I could take university classes from Barstow, from UCLA. I mean, just the ability to manipulate communication and have that, the world at someone. I could have someone halfway around the world taking classes.
And when you were in the Assembly, there were two bills that you had signed that pushed technology. One of them focused, this is great, one of them focused on the publishers of instructional materials and the requirement that
all the new textbooks that are needed in California have to be both digital as well as printed. So people don't have to carry those poor kids in second grade carrying 6 books on their backpack.
But that must have been a heavy lift. I mean, publishers make money off those thick books.
You would think. So I worked collectively with them because it was cheaper for them to change something digitally than reprint a book. That's wrong too.
Well stated, but still, I mean, I still think it's a heavy lift. And then, this blows me away, sir. Computer science standards, I guess they didn't exist.
Well, this is a kind of surprise for you with the process too, is to have a core class, which haven't changed in a long, long time.
How long?
Over 100 years.
Okay.
From our high school core classes. I wanted to bring computer programming. I was contacted by the tech companies saying we have jobs 80,000 a year out of high school. And so to put that through, it took 4 years after I got signed into law. So it took effect this year, which I'm very proud of.
And what does that mean?
To basic computer language, not how to use your PC, but how to program lines.
And I feel as if it may not be part of this bill, but there is a bill that now says computer science can be part of the A through G requirements.
That's my bill.
It is this bill.
Correct.
And so that really, I mean, it seems obvious, but unless it's done, it's not going to be done.
No, and it was a lot of pushback on it to change, because you have to get the UCs, the Cal States, everybody else to agree upon a curriculum of a language that's constantly changing. The science is constantly changing. So they spent 4 years to do it, and I kind of almost forgot about it until I heard from some students who are taking it this year. It's like, I wrote that.
And it makes sense because with the California state standards as well, technology is critically important. Our new standardized tests are no longer bubbling, but they're on the computer, they're adaptive. And so
think about your students when they're sick at home, could take their classes still online. We have all these opportunities to do online courses, international courses. Kids taking college classes in high school, I had a bill to allow more units for them to take in high school for college classes.
And it went?
To get credit. Yeah, it passed.
Great.
And so a lot of those different things, and I truly believe in that technology. But you need the infrastructure to do it.
So let's talk about that, though, because, look, you know, we still are on the precipice of this tremendous internet revolution. And while those of us, for example, that may be in the 4th District in San Bernardino, the compact 4th District, that's yours, right? You know, Chino Hills, Ontario, Montclair, you know, very well wired. But you think about some areas in other places, it can be challenging.
Areas in the county that don't have even a cable out there. I mean, they have dial-up phone lines still.
But Charter's working to change that. I will say that officially.
We are working with you. Thank you.
And you are working with Charter Communications.
And so we have communities up there who don't even have the access to the internet. So we're working with the Congressional Bill, FirstNet, and others to both wired and wirelessly basically have Wi-Fi throughout the county.
Right.
Anywhere it's populated.
But do talk to us more about this digital divide. The reason's almost irrelevant, but how that disadvantages students.
Well, for example, pretty much everybody in my school district at home probably has their own cell phone devices, have internet at home, all the rest of it, where I heard 2/3 of the residents of San Bernardino Unified School District don't have access to computers, to internet at home because their families can't afford it. So to have partnerships like with Charter and others to be able to have that access at home, as any parent knows, like I'm a parent, your kid doesn't stop learning when he leaves to the high school
course.
or leaves school. They require so much of them at home now.
Well, the cable industry, Charter, Comcast, et cetera, they're working to create these low-cost broadband programs, which have been very successful. But what's so interesting to me is I think about the 4th District in San Bernardino, Chino Hills, it's wealthy, but you have cities in your district that do have poverty levels that are above the national average. Montclair, Ontario, Upland, and that will suggest that there could be some lack of access to technology.
Oh, absolutely. Even the areas we think that there's no problems with, there's still homeless students out there. There's families that are having difficulties, and hopefully us in the county and the local cities can rally behind working with our private sector partners to at least give them the opportunity. That's what I want to see. Every student have the same opportunity to learn, no matter where you're at, and have access to those classes and information.
There's no question that the cable industry can work with school districts, with counties, with families to create access to the World Wide Web. But then the challenge becomes the devices. Can the county work to have these devices penetrate more widely?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. One of the things, like when I took office a couple of years ago, we have a gathering the library books to pass out to the kids. And so we changed that. We're gathering old devices, reprogramming to the blanks, at least be internet, Wi-Fi capable, and we're handing devices out because now that student has not one book, but he has access to millions of library volumes digitally online through the county library system. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to reprogram those systems. We do think there should be a role in government.
So do you check out the iPad, or how does it work?
What I do is I give them, if a student, kindergarten through 3rd grade, which is the critical reading time, reads 3 books out of my library, I give them one.
You give them
I give them a tablet. So
where do you get those tablets?
They're fairly inexpensive bulk. And so it's a pilot program we started last year, and it was very successful. We're going to try to keep growing that. And of course, we want to get need-based source on that as well. But to have a tablet access to internet, now everything's there. You're not stuck with one book. You're not stuck with anything else.
And what's remarkable about these tablets in some schools, including my daughter's, everything's on the tablet. I mean, they have an iPad.
The homework submitted, everything.
Everything.
And our kids are roughly, it's funny, taking cursive language, that's a week's worth of time. So my daughter's trying to read the letter from grandma over Christmas. It's like she can hardly read the cursive. That language is leaving as the computer stuff's coming in.
I mean, my daughter's spelling, sorry girls, but atrocious. But they have spell check. So they don't feel as if it's critical to spell because it will find, not only, it finds the error as you're typing. You don't even have to run it through the spell check program.
Well, I mean, and frankly, our education system, in my opinion, needs to adapt to our modern life. And needs to reform some of these classes to what they really need now. No one's going to be able to slide ruler. They're going to have
So
to
how does the county get involved in that? Because you have a superintendent of public instruction in your county, but then you have state, but then you have local control funding formula, which gives more control to local governments.
For a good example, what we're trying, one of our communities is Needles. They don't have access to internet right now.
Got it.
I want to put a remote court up there. So I have my court system. I have IHP.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I
want to bring those resources, the school district resources, and the county superintendent of schools. So we could be the cheerleader, the coordinator of resources all around. Now we all have a common goal to bring internet wires to the city and then Wi-Fi the city for that community up there through different cellular broadcasts.
And I know some school districts are working with school buses to have internet access on the bus.
The FAA rules, FCC rules are different with that. They can't go too far out of the bus range.
It's crazy.
So it's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, his name is Curt Hagman. He is the vice chair of the Board of Supervisors in San Bernardino County. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're so glad you're with us on Local Edition.